During Christmas dinner, my billionaire grandfather asked, "Are you still living in the house I bought you?" I froze. "I don't live in any house, Grandpa." He looked at my parents. Their faces went pale. The dining room sparkled with the kind of Christmas cheer only wealth could buy. Crystal chandeliers reflected on polished marble floors, the scent of roasted meats and spiced wine filling the air. But under the glittering perfection, tension crackled like static electricity. I froze mid-step, my fork trembling in my hand as my grandfather's icy voice cut through the chatter. "Still living in the house I bought you?" Time seemed to stop. The laughter, the clinking of glasses, even the soft hum of the string quartet in the corner, it all vanished. If you're still watching this, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and tell me where you're watching from in the comments. "My name is Rebecca Carter," I whispered to myself, though no one needed the reminder. I was 27, and for as long as I could remember, I had lived in the shadow of my family's wealth, but not in the way anyone imagined. "I don't live in any house, Grandpa," I finally managed, my voice barely audible. The air thickened. My parents, Robert and Claire Carter, stiffened beside me. Their faces drained of color, their eyes darting nervously between me and him. I had never seen them look so small. Grandpa Jonathan Carter, the billionaire patriarch of our family empire, leaned back in his chair, his gaze sharp enough to cut through steel. He was a man whose wealth was legendary, but it was his presence, commanding, ruthless, impossible to ignore, that left the room holding its breath. "Excuse me," my mother stammered, her voice shaky, betraying a fear she tried hard to mask. I don't have the house. I've never lived there," I said, my hands clenched in my lap. Grandpa's lips curved into the faintest smirk, like he had been waiting for this confession all along. My father's hand tightened around his wine glass, knuckles white. And in that instant I realized, Christmas at Grandpa's wasn't about celebration. It was about secrets, power, and who would survive the storm he was about to unleash. Grandpa's eyes flicked to my parents, sharp and unrelenting, and the room went completely silent. Even the string quartet seemed to pause mid-note, as if sensing the storm about to erupt. "Is that so?" he said, his voice low, dangerous, but with a hint of amusement. "So, Rebecca, you've been living, where exactly?" I swallowed hard. "I've been renting an apartment. It's modest. I never moved into the house you bought for me." A cough ran through the room, my father's attempt at calm, but it only made the tension thicker. My mother's hands shook slightly, and I could see the fear in their eyes, not at me but at him. Grandpa leaned forward, his elbows resting on the polished table, his gaze narrowing. "Do you have any idea what this house represents? What I built it for?" I know, Grandpa," I whispered. I didn't feel welcome there. I couldn't. His voice snapped like a whip. "Rebecca, that house was not just a building. It was meant to be your future, a symbol of everything I've worked for, my legacy for you, for this family." I flinched under the weight of his words. I had always known my grandfather was a man of immense pride, but I hadn't realized how personal this betrayal, or what he perceived as a betrayal, felt to him. Then he straightened in his chair, his expression icy, deliberate. "Do you know what your parents told me when I asked if you were living there?" I could barely meet his gaze. My parents shifted uncomfortably. I don't know what you mean, Grandpa," I said, my voice trembling. Grandpa's smirk widened, chilling, predatory. "They told me that you had refused it, that you didn't care for what I had given you, that you were content living like a stranger in your own life." My mother gasped. My father's face went pale, and I realized something terrifying. The storm Grandpa had been holding back for years was finally here, and it was aimed straight at the heart of our family. "I see," I whispered, but inside my blood was running cold. Whatever was coming next would not just change Christmas. It could destroy everything we thought we knew about our family. Grandpa leaned back, steepling his fingers, and the room seemed to shrink around us. His eyes glinted like steel. "Rebecca, do you know why I bought that house for you?" I shook my head slowly, my heart hammering in my chest. "No. I thought it was just a gift." He let out a low, humorless laugh that made the air chill. A gift? Oh, child. That house was meant to secure your future, to protect you from people who would take advantage of your kindness, your trust. And yet, you never moved in. You've been living like someone who doesn't belong to this family at all. I could feel my parents' panic rise beside me. My mother's hands were trembling against her lap, and my father looked ready to bolt. Grandpa's gaze pierced me. Do you know what else that house holds? I shook my head again, dread pooling in my stomach. He stood abruptly, the chair scraping sharply against the marble floor. The sound echoed through the hall, silencing everyone. That house, Rebecca, was never just a house. It was built on land that your father swore he had nothing to do with. A property your mother conveniently forgot to mention. It was meant to be yours fully in your name. But now I find out, you've been living in an apartment smaller than my office, while the keys to your inheritance sit unused. My stomach twisted. Grandpa, No, he cut me off sharply. Don't speak. I've waited 27 years to see if you would take it. I watched you struggle, I watched you, and I see now, you don't even care for what's yours. My parents exchanged panicked glances. My mother whispered almost inaudibly, Rebecca, maybe you should've. Enough, Grandpa snapped. This isn't about your comfort or your excuses. This is about respect, and you've shown none. Not for me, not for this family, and certainly not for yourself. The room was so silent now, the tension so thick I could barely breathe. I realized in that moment that Christmas had become a battlefield and I was standing in the crossfire. Every secret, every betrayal, every truth we had been hiding was about to come crashing down, and no one in that room would walk away unchanged. I've watched you grow into a woman of integrity, of strength. You've struggled, yes, but you've done it on your own. You didn't take the easy path. And that tells me everything I need to know. I stared at him, speechless. The anger, fear, and tension that had filled the room moments ago were dissolving into disbelief. He smiled, warm, real for the first time that night. Rebecca, the house is yours. All of it. Every brick, every room, every key. And more than that, I want you to know that your place in this family is not defined by wealth, or by what you've inherited. It's defined by who you are. Tears blurred my vision. I could barely whisper, Grandpa. Thank you. Grandpa chuckled, a deep, satisfied sound. No thanks needed, child. Just remember this lesson. Life will test you. People will doubt you. But your strength, your choices, that's what will define you. My parents stood frozen, ashamed of their own silence, realizing that all the worry, all the schemes had been unnecessary. I stepped forward, finally understanding that I hadn't just inherited a house that night. I had earned my place, my respect, and finally my freedom. And as the Christmas lights glimmered around the room, reflecting in the polished floors, I realized something. For the first time, I wasn't just surviving in my family's shadow. I was standing in my own light, and no one, not even a billionaire grandfather, could take that away. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more powerful stories.